Well, happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, August the 18th, and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tom. Well, this past week, I was fortunate enough to have a webinar visit with a group from the American Parkinson's Association, or the Parkinson's Association of Alabama. I apologize if I got it wrong here. The Southern Strength Group is a black group of Parkinson's-affiliated patients and or caregivers. There were several in the audience from Birmingham, which meant there were some names I recognized and some people who recognized me. There were some mutual stories to tell. I thank BB and Ellen for their professionalism, and it is our intention to have Parkinson's as a part of a future TWT program. We're working on that right now. It should be sometime in October. So thank you to all who participated and all the people from Parkinson's at Alabama. Let's see. Our show today, of course, is brought to you by the consulting firm of Best Girl Inc. So let's hear from Best Girl.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
Best Girl continues to customize the solution that fits your needs. Let me just take a minute and talk about the name Best Girl for a minute and where it came from. It's Best Girl, BESTGURL. It came about around the early 2000s, maybe 2004, 2005. We were looking to rename the company, and Best Girl was a nickname for Joyce Gilly-Gossam, my wife, who works with us on the show. And so we started using that term, Best Girl. And at first, it was a little difficult for some people to catch on because they didn't know exactly what it was, and some people even thought it had to do with something that maybe wasn't. Maybe it was a little bit on the sexy side or what have you. None of that was intended. We've now had this. It's been that name for at least 20 some odd years. And I think everybody's got used to it. And so anyway, in case you wanted to know, that's how Best Girl came about. So let's go to Sean. She's got a minute for us, and then we'll come back and do a little round table. So Sean, if you're out there, how about giving us got a minute? Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning to everyone joining in with us. My name is Shantia Jones, and this is Got a Minute. It's Tuesday, so let's talk about forgiveness. I think sometimes we confuse forgiveness with restoration. We're taught that if we forgive someone, we should be able to move forward with them. That if an apology is given and accepted, eventually things should go back to normal. But why does normal have to be the goal? You can forgive someone and still recognize that the relationship needs to change. You can accept an apology and still need time before trust returns. You can love someone and decide they no longer get the same access to you. Because forgiveness may be something you choose for yourself, but reconciliation requires participation from both people. And restoring trust, that usually requires more than an apology. It requires accountability, changed behavior, consistency, and most importantly, time. Sometimes a relationship survives a rupture and becomes stronger. Sometimes it survives but looks completely different. And sometimes the healthiest outcome for the relationship is to simply end. None of those outcomes automatically mean forgiveness has failed. Maybe the better question after someone hurts us isn't just, can I forgive them? Maybe it's also, what would need to happen for me to trust them again? And have they actually done it? Because before you can forgive someone without giving them a new version of you or the access to you that they had before. And that's it. That's your minute. I hope you all go out and have a great day. And if you don't want to, don't you go ruining anybody else's. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Shantia Jones, and this is Got a Minute.
Sean, I'd just like to add a little bit to what Sean talked about. And I read this the other day and I thought it was pretty cool. It said, carrying a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, carrying a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So let's talk about our money this morning, and then we'll come back and do the ground table. If you're looking to make your money grow, you're holding on to it as long as possible. Well, you should. So here's another episode of It's Your Money.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to It's Your Money. I'm Kimberly Simmons with S&K Services, and today let's talk about a simple but powerful concept, growing your money. One of the easiest ways to understand money growth is through compound interest. Compound interest means that your money can earn interest, and then that interest can earn interest. It's your money earning money. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it may seem small, but the longer it rolls, the more it can build. That is why time, consistency, and patience can be so important when it comes to your financial future. There are different ways to earn compound interest or grow your money, such as high-yield savings accounts, certificates of deposit or CDs, retirement accounts, certain life insurance products with cash value, and investments. Each option works differently, and each comes with its own benefits and limitations. The key is not just asking, where can I earn more, but also asking, does it fit my goals, my timeline, my comfort level, and my need for access to my money? Remember, it's your money, and understanding how it can grow is one step towards making it work better for your financial future. Thank you for joining, everyone. I'm Kim Simmons with S&K Services, and with us, it's all about you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, S&K. We appreciate you guys. So let's go to our roundtable and see what we've got out there this morning. We'll start with Michael Walker. Michael, are you out there this morning? What you got for us? How you doing?
I'm doing well, TG. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. I read this thing called Harvesting Gains from Stock. I know you've heard of gain from losing stocks. There's an article about gains from winning stocks. And it's very, very interesting. And when your tax year, when you're in a year when your taxable income falls below a certain level, long-term capital gains are taxed at a federal rate of 0%. Investors in that position can deliberately sell appreciated stock or fund shares, pay nothing in federal tax on the gain, and buy the same investment right back. Sounds like something I might have to try.
That's leveraging. It's called leveraging. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. I know I've always tried to take advantage of when you have a loss.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
saying you can have a gain and still have zero taxes. So
Yeah.
I'll get my lady who I work with to look into that. See,
When you figure that out, let me know how it works.
Okay. So, Michael, I thought about you, not that you hold any grudges. I just thought you'd appreciate this. Carrying a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was pretty good.
I thought that was good too. And when you said that, I said that is really, really funny. You know, I'm gonna drink this poison because I'm pissed off at you. So
I'm expecting you to die from it.
yeah, that's something my grandparents had a saying. That's like cutting off your nose to despite your face.
That's
Remember
right.
that saying? You know, I don't like the way my nose looks, so I'm gonna get rid of it, and I'm gonna have a big hole in my face now.
Right.
Hey,
Man.
Tom, let me run this by you. You know, being at Auburn back in the days and stuff, and you know how it was when people, you know, were smoking joints and doing stuff, and not that they're
Whoa.
not.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I thought about you when I heard this. I think you may appreciate it. Not that you've done this at all.
I'm glad you cleared that up.
Matthew McConaughey, he said that Janet Jackson's song, That's the Way Love Goes, made him stop smoking weed. And he said, what happened was, as they go, what had happened was, he was having a birthday party and a bunch of friends were throwing a birthday party for him at a club. And reserved it, told him to come on over and everything. And right before he got ready to leave, another friend gave him a joint, you know, for the ride over. So Mahoney said he went over there, got to the club, and he took one toke. And he said this was when the hydroponic marijuana became a big boom. You know, you probably heard of hydroponic vegetation like lettuce and stuff like this. Well, they started doing marijuana like that using hydroponic techniques. And he said it was a lot more intensifying effect. And it was beyond what he was used to, is what he said. He sat out in his car in the parking lot of the club where his birthday was and played Janet Jackson's song, That's the Way Love Goes, 24 times. He said that, and these are his words, I sat in the freaking car listening to That's the Way Love Goes 24 times because I thought at the time that that was more important than going to my own birthday party. Loved the song, didn't love the weed. What can you say about that?
A whole lot. I don't know. I don't know. That's pretty interesting.
Have you ever, do you recall driving really fast in an automobile when you were younger? You know,
Yeah.
you had a couple of sports cars and stuff, you know, and being an athlete, you kind of had that need for the adrenaline sometime. What's the fastest you've ever been in an automobile that you drove?
I don't know. Maybe 80 or 90. I never got above that, I don't think. So.
Okay. Well, there were two women here most recently. One was 22 years old. One was 21 in North Carolina. They've been charged with murder. One, the 22-year-old, was in an Audi. She reached a top speed of 132 miles per hour going down Interstate 85. The person she was racing with was a 21-year-old woman that was in a Mercedes that reached a speed limit of 120 miles per hour. And there was this guy riding the speed limit on his motorcycle, minding his own business, and they ended up having a collision with him, and he was killed.
Wow.
And this one woman's 22, one's 21.
I never would drive that fast. just did. And I find myself now driving slower than I've ever driven. Um, just, I don't know. I guess I just slowed down.
Well, I think I do that myself, but I do it because I'm trying to do defensive driving. Because nowadays you got to really watch out for the other person as well as pay attention to what you're doing. And you know, people that just does stuff, like for instance on a motorcycle. Not saying because it appears that this guy was obeying the law and was doing the right thing, but just over the past weekend, I'm sitting in traffic like this, and I'm driving, and a motorcycle come up right between myself and another car,
Yeah.
just out of nowhere. So you got to kind of watch that. So I really
Yeah.
try to slow down because I'm looking for stuff like that all the time. But
Yeah.
that is that's very heart wrenching that these two young ladies probably have certainly caused some problems for their own lives, and then this young kid who I think he had recently graduated from high school and wanted to be a mechanic
Mm.
and was just riding his motorcycle leisurely, and these people are drag racing on the interstate.
Damn. Um, I got my license suspended one time because I got a lot of tickets, and I used to drive real fast. And um, I was going to, and so I didn't have my license was suspended, but I was still driving, because I was young. Figured nobody would care, and I was working at a radio station, and I had to be there like early in the morning, 6 o'clock or something. So I was driving pretty fast, and I got pulled over, and guy came up and he started talking to me. He asked me why I was going so fast. And I told him I had to be at the radio station. I had to do a program, and I had to be there in a short period of time. And so, if he could just forgive me, I would appreciate it. But I had to get to work, and he told me. He said, "Let me tell you." He said, "You're probably if you're on the radio. You're probably a role model. So you need to slow down." He never gave me a ticket. He never asked me for my license. He just told me I needed to slow down, and I went on to work. And in the same time period, when my license was suspended, I was driving in Kentucky, and I got pulled over, and I had on my friend Terry, who's been on the show. Terry was working on a show called Tour Duty, and I had a Tour Duty jacket on, and the guy pulled me over, and he said, "Oh, you like that show?" I said, "Yeah, my friend is the star of that show." He said, "Well, who's your friend?" I said, "Zeke. He plays Zeke on." He said, "You know Zeke?" I said, "Yeah, I know Zeke. Me and Zeke good friends and stuff." Never gave me a ticket. Never asked me for my license. Oh, Zeke saved me that day. Yeah.
Now you had this happen all the while you had a suspended license.
Yeah.
How lucky is that?
That was pretty lucky. That was pretty lucky. I
And
slowed
not
down.
one time, but two times.
Yeah. I
Man,
slowed down after that, though. I was like, okay, I don't. Let's see what the ladies are talking about. Barbara, what you got for us?
Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing? Y'all having too much fun this morning.
Absolutely. I guess Tom decided that third time might not
My,
be a charm.
Yeah, I
you've
slowed
been
down.
blessed, Tom. You were that was
He's-
called real lucky and blessed.
I was in Kentucky, man.
Kentucky.
You know Zeke?
Mm.
Man, me and Zeke, good friends. Yeah, yeah, I know Zeke.
I love
You
it.
saved me. Which Barbara? What you got?
I'll go first. Y'all, I don't. I remember starting college, but back in 1975, and I happened to be talking to a parent whose child is enrolled at Auburn University, starting their sophomore year, and she was saying, how expensive college is, and how, their child got scholarships but didn't cover everything, and they were trying to find some more scholarship dollars. And I just, out of the blue, went back to look it up. Like, what is the cost to attend Auburn University for a year right now? For a resident of the state of Alabama, the average cost for 1 year of college is $39,516. For out of state, it's $63,540. That, of course, includes, room and board, meals, transportation, all of that. But when I was at Auburn in 75, when I started, I think tuition was $168 per quarter. And that is just unbelievable that in 50 years, a little over 50 years now, that the cost of college has increased that much. I mean, really?
Mm-hmm.
I had
Wow.
a $750 loan and a $750 grant my
Yeah.
first
And that
year.
covered everything.
And after that,
Right.
I was on scholarship. So
Wow. I feel for parents these days that's trying to send children to college, and some have, more than one child in college at the same time. I don't know how
right.
they do it. If the child if they don't have the Hope Scholarship or some type of uh, funding that they put in place when the child was first born, I don't know how they can make it these days, because it's ridiculous. I was just shocked,
Read
absolutely
those
shocked.
numbers again, Barbara.
For an in-state student at Auburn University, the cost of 1 year of college is almost $40,000. It's $39,516.
Now that's tuition, books.
Tuition, room and board, meals, all of
Yeah.
that. Hmm.
Okay,
Oh,
that's the
Yeah.
total cost. In
That's the
other
total
words.
cost, right? Yeah.
Okay, just not just
tuition.
tuition.
No, it's
Okay.
not just tuition. But I mean, even if I look at the total cost back in 75 when I started, I mean, I had an off-campus dorm, my first quarter there, and then, my total expenses probably was still no more than $2,000 for the whole year. And
Yeah.
that's just amazing to me that it has increased that much. I mean, that's the
University
signs of the
now.
times.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Nowadays, both parents have to work, and one salary has to pay for college. I mean, the
I
whole
think you're right.
salaries in some cases,
Hmm.
or half
Right.
or more than half will have to go to college. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of
Well,
money.
there's a lot
Well,
of scholarships out there that are not evident, and some of the guidance counselors should be working with these parents and these students, trying to help them find funding for college. Now, I'm not sure what the guidance counselors do anymore, but hopefully they're doing that. And then there's all kinds of scholarships that are available out there. Some of them are not awarded because nobody applies for them. So I encourage parents, grandparents, if you have kids that are getting ready to go to college, I would start their junior year for sure, searching to find out what scholarships are available, what are the deadlines for applying for those scholarships, and the requirements. Some of them only require you to fill out an application. Some of them require that they write some type of a thesis or essay or something. And others, they just submit a name. And so they definitely need to be looking and searching for it, because again, Auburn University is a public university. That private universities cost a lot more than that. A lot more than that. So
Wow.
depending on where they're going, and if they're going out of state, of course, again, out of state tuition for at Auburn is 63,000, but not just tuition, but the cost for 1 year for out of state students is $63,540.
Hmm.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
you hope that you make this investment and they go to college and they don't turn out to be like the two students at Penn State that's running a cocaine ring
Yeah,
out
that's
of
crazy.
out of the fraternity house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're
Mm.
making
That's
all the
crazy.
pledges. It was two fraternities, and all their pledges were having to package the cocaine, weigh it up, and put it together. So they used the
Oh,
pledges as his distribution channel. And
Mm.
there was one parent that was involved in this operation when it went down and it busted them all
wow.
and stuff. But it was the two people at the top of the fraternities that were actually doing this, and they were like just moving it through Penn State.
All the
Wow.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
just amazing that there's a comedian,
Okay.
a female.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, they had a whole operation, Tom. Like they were just putting together, doing the scaling, the bagging, the whole 9 yards, and had the pledgees doing it. Okay,
Wow.
Mhm.
and
Wow.
and then they would use them to distribute it and stuff and bring it back. It was a total operation. They just got busted just the other day.
Well,
There was a
that's
there's
not uncommon for universities and schools and colleges. When I was in graduate school in 72, 73, on Thursday afternoon, you could walk across campus and get a contact high from marijuana. It was so strong. And what I learned from the other students is that, you know, there was a a supply chain that started in Texas and passed through Texas A&M, University of Texas, all of those schools, and um, it came up to Oklahoma. It was in Oklahoma State, Norman, and then it went on up to Arkansas and into Missouri. And it was just a supply chain that went through. And every Thursday, like clockwork, you could walk across that
wow.
campus, and it was so much marijuana in the air, you could just get a contact high. It was just unbelievable. And it was shocking to me coming from a very small Baptist college. I'm like, what is that smell? I had no clue.
No
I
clue.
had
I know.
absolutely no clue. But I got
That's me.
educated. They let me know what it was. You want to buy something? No, thanks.
Well, there's this female comedian that's going around, and she's telling her story. That, they were asking her where did she go to college, and she said she graduated from Ole Miss, and she said she wasn't really serious about going to college, but once her parents said you have to go, she said she decided she was going to apply. She applied to two schools, Ole Miss and Alabama. She said she made her campus visit to the University of Alabama, and one of her friends invited her to a fraternity party there, a white fraternity party. And she said she went there, and she said there was a guy who was, they said was, one of the brilliant guys on campus. He was top of the class. She said he was snorting a line of cocaine off of a chicken finger. And she said she called her dad and said, yeah, he was snorting a line of cocaine off of a chicken finger, the chicken finger snack, like a meal. She said when she saw that, she said she called her dad and she said, Dad, I think I'm going to Ole Miss. She said, I didn't want to be a part of that. Like, wow.
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 So,
So,
Barbara, you
yeah.
said this guy was the head of the class. He was
That's
the
what she
top of
said. She said he was one of the smartest kids at the university. They said she said she was just new to campus. She was just coming to visit, but she had a friend who was attending school there, and she said they were introducing her to everybody, and she was saying, "Hey, this guy's top notch guy. If you decide to come here, might be somebody you need to know." She said she looked around 30 minutes later, and he was snorting a line of cocaine. She said, "No, I don't think this is where I need to be."
off of a chicken finger.
Off of a chicken finger. Yes, that was hilarious. I said, I've never heard of such before in my life, but yeah.
I
I know
mean,
she's a
I
comedian,
don't
but she said
remember.
she swore that it was true. I said, "Oh wow, that's
they
interesting."
when they make chicken fingers, they're breadcrumbs, right? So
Right,
he smelled
exactly.
breadcrumbs too.
Everything.
Hopefully, it was deep fried before he put that cocaine on there.
I don't know, why do you just put it on the table? I mean, why you got to put it on a chicken finger? Maybe it added in, it enhanced his high or something.
Yes,
I don't
yes, it
know.
was. He added
The
extra to
grease,
it.
the grease from the
Yes,
fried chicken finger.
Oh my goodness.
I
Oh,
can
like that's
remember.
ridiculous.
I don't remember cocaine when I was in college.
I don't either, Tom.
I don't
I
either.
mean,
That was
and
marijuana was
It
all
was
over the place.
marijuana.
but I never smelled it on campus. Barbara was saying she was walking across campus in
Oh
contact.
yeah.
I never, maybe I didn't. There were certain places I didn't go or something, but I never smelled anybody smoking it on campus. And you went
No.
to a
The
party now. You
coaches,
went to some of these parties, you may have
Yes.
smelled some, but again, I never saw anybody do any cocaine or anything like that. That was just
the coaches were
wow.
trying to track it down, and so they would call the guys in, and they said, "Well, if you could you go over to the athletic dorm and get some?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "How long would it take you?" He said, "It'd take me about 5 minutes to walk over there, about a minute to get it, and 5 minutes to walk back, and I'll have some." And,
Ooh,
they could.
Wow.
So they were in there. The coaches were in there. And they were burning it because they wanted to see what it smelled like and all that. It was a very interesting period.
yeah.
Yes.
No doubt.
Mm.
No doubt at all. Mm.
Uh, Michael, you talk about the NIL and all that stuff. This Saturday coming up, Auburn, the new coach at Auburn has, you hired Jarris McIntyre to be an alumni
Hmm.
ambassador, and
Hmm.
they've invited most of the alumni athletes, football players, back for this Saturday, which should be interesting. But to me, that's one way to kind of offset the whole NIL and the transfer portal is to get people involved who have been involved
Right.
um, from a team atmosphere and how to build a team, so to speak.
Yes.
So that should be interesting, and we'll see how that goes. Jairus has asked me to come, so I'll try and make it. Um,
Yeah,
That'll be
Great.
great.
but
That would
I
be
think
great.
that's interesting. I think it's smart.
yeah,
Hmm.
Yes, it is.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
It's part of the culture building
Mm-hmm.
relationships
Right.
and bridging um, the generational players throughout the history
Right.
together. And I think that's important, to be honest with you. I think it's very important. This guy, he's making a lot of mental decisions, if you will,
Smart,
that
it appears.
I find that to be very interesting, and I think that will be beneficial. Of
Yes.
course, it's got to translate into wins on the field and what have you. We all know that, but there's a difference in the way that he's managing the team this year. It seems to be,
Yes.
and I like that.
Yeah,
Me
he,
I
too.
like,
he's more, and this probably doesn't sound right, but it's more old school coaching,
yeah,
Hmm.
Yes.
which
It is.
is
Yes.
focused on building a team and winning.
Right.
Uh, I don't know what Freeze was doing. Freeze was
Nobody does.
he
Freeze
was
was
playing a lot of golf.
Yeah. Yes.
but this guy seems to have it down. He reminds me of that coach from Indiana
Yes.
a little bit.
Signetti,
Yeah,
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 and they're comparing him to Indiana. They saying he may be the new Indiana. Auburn may be the new Indiana. So uh, he
yeah.
does have a lot of the similarities there. I understand he called a surprise scrimmage the other day or something, and even caught the coaches off guard. And they
Mm,
were saying how they weren't used to that. That was not anything that they'd seen before. So
unexpected.
totally
No,
unexpected.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good.
yeah,
That's good. And I think, Tom, that the alumni going back to campus and meeting these young men, they're going to meet some of the um, players that they really admire, and this
Hmm.
gives them an opportunity to be in the same room with um, Auburn's football history makers, and they get to
Yes.
shake their hands. They get to have this introduction, and then when that connection is made, that helps them to feel a little bit more proud of being on the Auburn team. And so, like Michael said, it's part of that strong team building. And then, of
Hmm.
course, you all are going to be invited to be on the sidelines as they usually do. And so here is another layer of relationship building where the team who's going to be out there on the field knows that the person they admire much is watching them. And now they're going to give it that extra effort. And then when they come back on the sidelines, and you're there to do whatever you all do. I don't know what you all do on the sideline, but whatever it is you do, they come back more enthusiastic and more charged up to do their job on the field. So I think it's just great. Yeah.
I agree.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
it was
I
very.
agree 100% on that.
I quickly while I was at the thing, Parkinson's thing. There's a story that came up that one year we had more offensive guards than we could play. You could only play two at a time, and so we had about four or five who were capable of being first team. And so what the coaches decided they would do was they would message the plays in, use one of the guards to run the play in, and then another one would run the play in, whatever. And so we were out there and we were playing, I forget who we were playing, whatever, but we were in the huddle and we're waiting on the play to come in and coaches talking to the guy, and we can see the guy nodding his head, whatever. I ain't gonna say his name. And so they gave him the play, and we're in the huddle, and he starts out there, and he's running towards us, and we're saying, "Come on, man, come on, come on!" And he gets about halfway, and he stops, and he looks back at the coach. He looks at us, and somebody said, "Oh hell, he done forgot to play." He's just standing there. He's looking at coach and looking at us. They had to call timeout.
Timeout. I was gonna say
Timeout.
call timeout to get the play in.
Oh my goodness! I never heard of that.
Oh,
Whoa,
that's hilarious.
We're standing there. Come on, man, come on. Come on.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it.
He stopped and looked back at coach. Oh hell, he done forgot to play.
You knew right away.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too
That is
funny.
hilarious.
He got caught up in the moment. The moment was too big for him.
Too
It really
big
was,
for him.
Michael. It was a big moment. All eyes were on him.
Like, that's too
Yes.
much.
Oh God, he was crazy.
First of all, he psyched himself out. He's like, "I'm the man. They depending on me to carry the message. I get to do this." And stuff. And then he listened, and then he's talking about how he gonna run out there, and the people looking at him. He starts out, and everybody looking at him.
Goes
That is
blank.
hilarious.
He goes blank, man. He went blank. And come on, man, come on. Oh God, that was great. We didn't messenger the plays anymore after that. That
I
was
bet
it.
you did. Yeah.
What y'all do?
I
Hand
understand.
signals or smoke signals?
Anything but that.
You can see them on the sideline. What are they doing? Smoke signals.
Then Pat
right.
Sullivan told me this story when they were playing somebody, and Pat was the last quarterback at Auburn to call his own plays. He called the plays. Coaches didn't call the plays. And so they get down to fourth down, and Coach Jordan sends the punt team out there, and Pat waves the punt team off. He waves them off and makes them go back, and they go for it on fourth down, but they don't get it. And he said Coach Jordan met him halfway, coming off the field, and put his arm around him. And the announcer said, "Oh, look at that. That's good coaching. See, he's got his, he's just Pat said he was choking the shit out of him." See?
You know he was.
You do what I did. You run the play I call. The last time he went against coach. So
That's what you call disguised counseling by the throat.
Yes.
Oh, gosh,
Oh my goodness.
That's too funny. Let me run something by you guys and get your input on it. And this is pretty interesting. It's kind of serious. Have you heard about the surrogate mother that has a baby? She was a surrogate, but she had a contract with a couple, as they all do. And this particular contract said that if there were any abnormalities or abnormalities that come out, that they reserve the right to terminate the pregnancy.
Right.
And that they had decision-making authority. That was in the contract.
Right.
And
What state were they in, Michael? Do you remember?
Well, the couple, I think they are, I think they're in California, but yes. But what happened is the person that became the surrogate mother, she ended up becoming, I guess, emotionally attached with the baby. And as they were going through these testing and trying to check to make sure how the baby was, they discovered that the baby had a heart defect.
Right.
And that it was a very rare one. And if the baby was carried to term and would be born, then they were going to have to do surgery immediately. And even after that, they faced some challenges, even if they survived. And so the couple wanted to terminate the pregnancy based on what the contract says. But the woman that's carrying the baby decided she's not going to honor the contract now. And she leaves and goes to Texas, where abortion is illegal in Texas, and no doctors will do an abortion, and they'll be forced to treat the baby, and she'll have to have the baby. And then this couple up here that has a contract is saying, well, wait a minute, we're supposed to do this. Right. And so, long story short, she has the baby, and now it's being treated. Then the couple from California saying that we should be the custodial parents and stuff. So now they're fighting over the custody battle.
Yes.
What do you think about this? This is a real unusual situation.
It really is.
And it's probably going to be a federal case because of diversity of citizenship. The original family is in California. Now this mother who has had the child is in Texas. So it's probably going to end up being in federal court. The second thing that I would ask is, was the surrogate mother not paid through her pregnancy? Did she not receive those dollars from the contract? So there are going to be some serious questions about this. This is going to be some new law somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. I read that was concerning.
I think also I've read where I saw something the other day. They can agree, but as the pregnancy goes on, things start to change. People start to have different feelings about it. There was this woman who got raped, and she ended up being pregnant, and she decided she was going to keep the baby, and her husband didn't want to keep the baby because it was another man's baby.
Right.
And so it got real, they ended up in court and all that. It got real confusing. And the fool who raped her said he had some rights. And
Hopefully he was saying that from his jail cell.
Absolutely.
Well, he wasn't in jail yet. That was the thing. Rape's very hard to prove. And a lot of women who get raped spend far more time in court
fighting it
that they want than they ever imagined.
Right.
That's very true. Yeah.
It's not, it's not in their best interest. Generally, you got to prove that the guy did it beyond a reasonable doubt. And most of the time, it's just you and him.
That's true.
Very difficult to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this guy.
Very few women go immediately to the hospital and have the rape kit done and get that kind of tissue samples and all those things that come on their fingernails and all of the samples, the body samples that you can gather to support your case.
Right.
And then if she decides to go ahead and have the child, then you have the DNA of the child. So that would build a really strong case, but that's so rarely does that follow that scenario. Yeah, it's a hard case.
It is.
John says the egg and the swimmer belong to the parents. She thinks the surrogate should honor the agreement.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of think so too. I mean, you made this agreement going in and they followed through on their end.
Yes.
Right. You now want to change your end of it.
Right.
But now the baby is here.
Right. So and that generally changes the feelings overall.
Right.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
Well,
it's one of those really, really tough decisions. There's no right or wrong answer to it. I guess it's now the decision has to be made based on what's in the best interest of the child.
Right.
Long term now, which is then would it be better for him to be with two parents given his condition?
Right.
Or
Incomes may be better,
yes, all of that stuff. So
may
it's
not
going to
have to
be
depend upon um, 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 health care from the state or from the federal government. You just don't know. But most people, I would think, who are really seriously interested in having a surrogate mother, usually they want someone who has had surrogate experiences. They've had several other children before surrogately, and therefore they understand, they have a better mental health status in terms of giving the child and not getting attached. So I don't know whether this was her first surrogacy or or multiples. I didn't get that from the article. Did you, Michael?
no, did not.
Mhm. Yeah,
No.
it wasn't mentioned. Yeah.
But in Tom's situation, I wonder if that were me and my wife, was it his wife that
Yeah.
got raped?
Yes.
Yes.
And then she ended up being pregnant. How would I feel? And I
Mhm.
guess, and if I'm sitting there and I'm trying to look at it objectively, I'm probably going to have to place my feelings over here for the time being to make a clear decision. And then that would force me to think about my wife and that situation.
Right.
Because then the next thought is, well, the child is an innocent or a victim of
Absolutely.
circumstance more
Right.
so than anything else. And then
Right.
the guy that raped her, I have to just resolve it in my mind that the court system will deal with that if we
It's a
can.
lot. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
It's a
It
but
is
lot.
a lot.
I I can see it being a very difficult situation, and
Mhm.
in what Tom was saying that the husband did not want that and
Yeah.
felt his
Hmm.
rights were being
Well,
violated.
and in
And
this
I
case, the woman had twins,
Oh,
Mm.
and
really?
Oh, wow.
one of them looked like her husband, and the other one looked like the guy who had raped her.
What?
And he was trying. She was the husband. She wanted to keep both the babies. She felt like both of them were her babies,
Right.
which they were, I guess.
Yeah.
And but the husband, he was just dead set against it. Although he eventually agreed to it, he carried that with him.
So
yeah, and I would
he
be
wanted her
fearful
to,
as his wife, you know,
and
that
and to be clear, Tom, he wanted her to in the pregnancy, or he wanted her to put one child up for adoption or something once they were born.
Either
At
way,
what point? Oh, anyway, he just didn't want that other child.
he
He
didn't want
wanted
that
his, but
other
not the
child.
other
He
one.
didn't. The guy who raped his wife was an asshole, and
Mm,
he didn't. He wasn't somebody he was fond of,
okay.
and the guy, he raped her. Um, he drugged her,
Oh,
mm,
wow.
and so it wasn't like she just willingly had sex with him.
Right.
He drugged her and took advantage of her. So it's a hard one.
it's a
It
very
is.
hard one. And if
Mm-hmm.
I were his spouse at that time, you have to consider the fact that your husband is going to be carrying this burden, you know, and how it and whenever he would look at that child, he's going to see that man's face and how he harmed his wife. And so does the husband go into protective mode against the child, to protect the mother because he's still seeing the face of this man who caused injury to his wife? Oh, it's complicated. They
Yeah,
need
that's
counseling,
very complicated.
whether they
I was
want
gonna
it or not.
say they all will definitely need some strong
Yes,
counseling. Mm,
that's a hard one.
So
it is.
I read. You guys are familiar with the Trail of Tears, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
yes, very much so.
Great story I read the other day. You know, I didn't. Andrew Jackson was the president, and
Mhm, mhm.
Andrew Jackson, uh, Native American people today who were raised in those environments, they were raised to never use $20 bills because Andrew
Andrew
Mm,
Jackson's
Jackson.
picture is on
that's
the
That's right.
right.
$20 bill.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they
That's
will
right.
not
Mm-hmm.
use a $20 bill. And
Wow.
I didn't realize how many people there were. Where is it? This force removal. They moved these people. There were 60,000 people were forcibly removed from land in Georgia and in the South,
Alabama,
northeast,
Florida.
and
Mm-hmm.
about 10,000 died of starvation,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
exposure, disease, and other cause. They drowned, they were run over by wagon wheels, they died in childbirth, or they were killed by soldiers. Among the Cherokee alone, 1 in 4 people died on the Trail of Tears.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
And the Trail of
It
Tears
is.
came up north through a place called Cape Girardeau, Missouri, where I lived and went to high school. And there was this statue of this beautiful Native American princess that overlooks the Mississippi River. And that was my introduction to the Trail of Tears. I had not heard about it until I was, I think, a freshman in high school. And we went to the park. My parents took us to the park so we could see and understand exactly what the Trail of Tears was about. And when I started really reading it, it was just heartbreaking. It was the same behavior that our ancestors had to endure, if not worse, because
Mm-hmm.
this was their land.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
Trail
So
of
that's
Tears passed through Chattanooga, Tennessee,
mhm,
northern Alabama, western North Carolina, middle Tennessee, and up through southern Illinois, down through Missouri, and across
mhm,
Arkansas
mhm,
before
Mm-hmm.
stopping in what is now eastern Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And
And then
Tom, where did it begin? Did it?
Georgia,
It did. That's
Georgia.
what I thought.
Well,
Okay.
northern.
there were Native Americans all in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, and so they just started gathering people. And I don't know if they really understood where they were taking people because they seemed to be a little off center by going up into Illinois and, well, southwest Illinois and southeast Missouri, and then
Missouri, yeah.
coming back
Back to
down through
Oklahoma.
Arkansas to Oklahoma. I
Yeah.
mean, that was just,
Yeah. I don't think they knew either, Barbara. They were just, looked like a nomads, just trying to find
Sound
a
like
place that they could
sound like
land.
Trump designed that plan.
hmm.
Right.
They
Well,
wanted
and
to,
Andrew Jackson was someone that he admired. So you're right, Michael.
they
Yeah.
wanted the land.
They
They
wanted the
wanted the
land.
mineral rights, the
Yes.
river
Mm-hmm.
access, the abundant resources. Gold had been discovered nearby, and they
Hmm.
wanted all of North Georgia on the chance that there was more gold to be found in Georgia.
Ah.
Yeah, that was in Dahlonega. That was the
Yeah,
first place
Hmm.
it was found.
Hmm.
Gold was
Mm-hmm.
Right.
found in Dahlonega, Georgia, but even before it was discovered in California.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
amazing
It
that
is.
they would do that. That well, I was gonna say that the president of the United States would do that, but then, you know,
Here we are.
yeah, exactly. So, what can you say? Uh, we got about 5 more minutes. Anybody got anything else?
What do you guys think about Auburn opening up in Atlanta against Baylor? They're number one. Well, it's supposed to be a home game. It's supposed to be in Jordan
Yes.
Hare, but instead they're doing it in Atlanta because of NIL. Supposedly Auburn's going to get about $6 million in NIL money, and maybe 3 other players will get additional NIL or individual contracts. And so instead of having a home game in Jordan Hare, because Baylor and Auburn did a home and home. Auburn
Right.
opened up in Baylor last year. Baylor was supposed to come to Jordan Hare. So
Right.
instead,
It's a
it's
big
being shifted to Atlanta. Now, in addition to the $6 million NIL money that Auburn's supposed to get and the other players, they're looking at it as an opportunity to advertise and showcase. And
Mm-hmm.
then they were trying to sell it on the fact that in the Atlanta area, Auburn has the highest concentration of alumni only behind the University of Georgia in
hmm.
Right.
Atlanta. So they're
Right.
trying to say it's kind of like a home
Home
game for
game.
Auburn,
Yeah.
is what they're trying to say. You know how they do that
There's
stuff.
definitely some pros and cons to it, Michael. You know,
Yeah.
the con to that is that the economy in Auburn is going to take a negative hit because they're
Yeah.
saying, you know, the businesses rely on that with their income and stuff. So there's again pros and cons, and you have to weigh those out and figure out which is best for the university, for the team, versus what's best for the local economy and also local fans who are traveling. You know, they're saying, you know, they're
Yeah, it's
some
going to
who are
cost.
closer to
Well,
Auburn.
you're right. It's going to cost the fans more money. Those that have
Sure.
season tickets, right?
Right,
Yes, it
They
will.
now got to come to Atlanta and pay
right,
the Atlanta prices for hotels and all of that.
right.
And then, as you say, the businesses, some businesses in the Auburn, Opelika area, they make their profit during football season.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
They have
then
Absolutely.
eight games a year to make that.
yes,
Yeah, that's
Right,
a lot of
yes,
money.
yes,
right.
yes.
And it
That
changes the whole rhythm of the city of Auburn when that is as a home game.
Oh,
It
that's
changes
right.
the whole rhythm for the week, you
Right.
know?
That's
yeah,
So
right.
they're going to lose that, but they will sell more tickets in Atlanta because it'll be a larger stadium, it'll be a larger venue, and they'll draw a lot of curious people about this game as well. And who knows, there might be one or two Baylor people there, who are alumni. I don't like Baylor. I don't like Baylor at all. So I don't care. I won't be there. I probably won't even watch the game. That's how much I don't like Baylor.
Uh,
well, I
Not
mean,
a
it's
fan.
it's, it's interesting though. But now, from what I'm hearing, you're going to see more and more teams do that.
do
I
that.
think
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm, mhm.
some more teams are
Yes.
going to be looking to do this next year.
Right.
Now that Auburn's done this, I don't know. What do you think about that, Tom? It's like,
It's all about money, man.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
You know, so
So true.
how do you argue against somebody making more money? So
Right.
I don't know. I would do it, but um, it's all. I keep coming back to it, but it's all about money.
It's all about money. Bottom line.
Whether it's
They
politics, going to
got
college.
rid of all the DEI stuff for money.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the coaches do it for money too. I mean, it's just, yeah, it is what it is. That's the American way, I guess, right?
Right.
yeah.
You don't have to be greedy.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
You
you
really
can
don't.
go overboard with it.
That's for
Yeah.
sure.
So true.
I don't know. I didn't even know that, to be frank, because I don't keep up with that. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's a big thing, and a lot of the season ticket holders are saying, "Well, we're getting screwed over. What are we going to get for this?"
Right. Right.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
as well as the merchants, they're saying, "So we lose revenue for this."
Right.
You know,
well,
so
I wonder who came up with that. I guess athletic director.
Athletic director. Yes.
yeah, yeah, but I think that they were approached too because this is like the Chick-fil-A kickoff
Hmm.
football. They always
Hmm.
have it, and Alabama's played it. Auburn's played in it before. So
Right.
they like what they like to do is try to get a team that's in the Southeast that has brand recognition that can
Right.
bring a crowd in, and then have them play another team from outside of the SEC,
Hmm.
whether it's ACC, Big Ten,
Right.
Big 12, or whatever. Now,
And
so
and
that's
this
a
is not
part
the
of
first time that Auburn has played their first game in
No.
no,
Atlanta.
no,
So
no.
it's not like
The,
this is a very
the,
first.
The difference is those other occasions, it was
Hmm.
already pre-scheduled and worked
Scheduled.
out. That's the way it was
Right.
going to be.
Oh
It
my.
wasn't
Right.
changed and given
Yes.
up a
That's
home
the
game
difference.
anyway. That's the
Right.
difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And it was done
Hmm.
after. But I think that the people from Chick-fil-A approached Auburn about it, from what I heard. That's how it got
Right.
started.
Wish him well.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Might make it hard on the new coaches. I wonder how the coach feels about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
You want to get that bounce off that first home win and stuff. You like to get
Hmm.
that
Right.
game of the
Right.
season, you know.
Right.
like that could springboard you, but instead you're really playing not you playing in a neutral field, really,
Right.
Yes.
especially with a new team and new coach, and
Right.
like you're saying, Tom, all of that. Be different if it was like year 3 or so that you're doing
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, your
Well,
first day.
I have no idea how many people will be there, but it'd be interesting to see. Like I said, he's inviting the alumni athletes back this
Mhm.
weekend, and it'd be interesting to see how they feel about it, and if they're going to go. You know,
The game is getting a lot of hype. I think there are going to be a lot of Auburn alums there. Again, I don't know anything about Baylor's following and what kind of followers they have, fan base, but I don't know if it's going to be a sellout, but I think the Auburn crowd will still be big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had a very dear friend who was the first African American to play football at Baylor, and it just was not a good thing. It was a very, very difficult situation for him,
Mm-hmm.
and he went into the ministry and became a very, very successful minister. But when he talked about Baylor, it was um, it was sort of listening to the similar stories of Auburn's first football player going through those difficult times. And of course, um, um, he was also a writer like Tom. He wrote for the Reader's Digest. He was a great singer. He was a great preacher. He's very multi-talented. Wrote poetry and published a lot of papers and writings for Reader's Digest. But it was it was it was truly a difficult time in his life, but he went through it. He made it through. He graduated and he did well academically. Like you, Tom.
yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, it was tough.
Jerry Levice, I'll never forget Jerry Levice played. He was the first black guy to play in what was then the Southwest Conference. He played at SMU, and Hayden Fry was his coach. And he went to his coach and told his coach not to put him in the game um, because he had gotten death threats. And he was told if he go out on that field, he was going to be shot. And he told his coach he didn't want to play. He wanted to stay on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
And when we had the documentary Breaking the Huddle, the
Mm,
integration of college football,
mm-hmm.
he was there, and a bunch of guys were there. Bubba Smith, and a bunch of guys who had been in integration experiences. And Jerry Levias, Jerry Levias was probably one of the best football players ever, and he pretty much cried through the whole thing.
Yeah.
He said, "You know, it's been 40 years, and I still can't talk about this without crying."
Wow.
There were a lot of guys. There was a guy from Florida State who um, had been a big stud athlete down in Miami, and he chose to go to Florida State, and it didn't work out the way he wanted to. And so he didn't want to go home to Miami because he had been a hero, and so he shot himself. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so he could tell everybody somebody had robbed him and shot him, but he miscalculated. He bled out and he died.
Mm,
Guy,
mm.
the first black guy in Kentucky, died in practice. So
Wow.
it was an interesting time.
Yeah, it was.
For
It
sure.
was.
Very interesting. So anyway, anything else?
I think
We're gonna
that's
I think so, sir.
move on with it's time. Um, Let me just close up then, if you guys don't have anything else. I'm going to go back to some rules to live by, some of the things I've learned, and I'm going to repeat this. I said it earlier. Carrying a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I think that's something we could all live by.
Yes.
Rich is not having the most. Rich is needing the least. That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had this saying when I worked at Bell South called "Storms bring out the eagles, but the little birds take cover." And that was sort of how we ran things when I worked over there. But So unless you guys got anything else, that's our show for today. We should have a guest next week. I think next week, be the 25th. I don't know who. Well, Sean's got it. Um, and we will go from there. Um, so that's our show for today. We want to thank the audience. We appreciate you. Just let me go back for a minute. When we were talking about the surrogates and so on and so forth, uh, uh, Sean obviously had some pretty strong comments.
Yes.
Mhm.
She said, I agree with the husband. Uh, she says if she wants a baby, she should have her own. If the egg and swimmer belong to the parents, I think the surrogate should. I think the surrogate should honor the agreement. So,
Yes.
uh, interesting. Okay, anybody got anything else? So let's. All
Have a
righty.
great week.
Well,
Have a great week.
all righty. Well, you guys we thank you. We thank the audience. We appreciate you. We thanks. And that's it for this August the 18th in the year 2026. Remember, a day without a smile is a day wasted. You got an extra smile, give it to somebody. Just might make their day.
Hmm.
Enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Don't let a day go by. You don't take the time to make your life or somebody else's life better. Stay safe. Blessings. Peace.